How many times are you going to deny the trophy from us? But it looks like even the start of this competition has not been the best for Buriram.
But I feel like this is your favorite part about the team, where they always start slow. You know, you say that they were hiding some stress, and then at the tail end of the tournament, they step up and then they kind of walk away with the trophy. Though that has not been the reality for the past year and a half. But I feel like eventually this is going to happen, right? You can't stay at the top forever. Teams are catching up, and I like the competition that we're having as we head into next era for round number 5.
And of course, the hiding strats kind of formula does work out for some teams, right? We saw how Team Falcons kind of like laid low under the radar all throughout the group stages, and then bam, at the finals of FFWSC, they came up top as champions. We're still waiting to see if or not they're going to win the club championship for their brand overall by the end of the Free Fire competition. But let's take a look at this flight path as well. Everybody's comfortable in their own drop spots. I believe a lot of them have avoided the early engagement, except of course Lost 21 and Wasana, who are a little bit too close to each other at this point.
Even Fluxo has taken the Intellect Center, right, in the far north. On the other end, you have Retta, who are basically in proximity of Evo's Divine. So this is where we can expect potential first contact in this round. And as for Retta, they're starting to cover as much ground as possible. CarXX with the first elimination, first blood for them.
Yeah, the XM8 giving them the first point of the game. Aim God has got the aims, but no weapons to respond to those shots, and Retta will get an easy number 2 off of the Indonesian squad. Gade, in the meantime, is already making his good way away from this engagement. He does not want to have anything to do with them. ABAX a little bit further away from them. Loud is within the vicinity as well. In the name of Kawan, he perhaps could drop a couple of shots and stop the player rotating away.
I'm surprised that Aim God even wanted to run for the coins, right? It's kind of leaving a bit of breadcrumbs behind, but for Retta, this is kind of the ideal start. You get 2 free points. They won't be able to wipe out the rest of Evo's Divine, but at least you're off to a decent opening. But we see Negan thrown out off screens. Wasana that gets his head blown off.
Wasana just stepping a little bit too close to the players of Loud, and he understands that perhaps that's not really the strategy they have to be pulling off at this point of time. Slowly, he makes his way right back in through a revival, and Loud, all thanks to Buriram, have got 1 point to start things off with.
Absolutely. And even for Loud, when we saw them on the international stage, we had talked about people such as Lost 21 and Kawan, right? Very solid players that just need a bit of polishing. On the other end, Fluxo is the team that has been suffering so far today. They got to face up against RRQ Kazu again. But I think MT7 is, you have to be a bargaining chip, right? You send him over to RQ Kazu and make sure the rest of the team gets out. The fact that you started at Intellect Center and still you now realize that the exit is blocked by one of the top 3 teams, you gotta find another way out.
Strategy is really not checking out here for Fluxo. MT7 up on top, away from the rest of his team members, and he does not have a portal go in hand as well. Takes those great shots against Ma'al, but brings a little bit of unwanted attention to himself as well. The AUG still on level 1, so you're not going to get too much of heavy damage out of the gun.
See how long he can hold RQ Kazu in this position. This could benefit the rest of Fluxo though. They're going to start flying in. You can see on that map, trying to rendezvous with the rest of the team. So RQ Kazu, they're going to call it quits. No point wasting time there. They still have a marker on Razor for another minute and a half. Just run the clock out and perhaps make that rotation. Plenty of space on the west side of the map.
Everybody's got a full squad. And as I say that, Anas might just be the one to exit right now. Zairu stepping on in. Brave man, but Hasu punishes him for that. The shotgun in play once again. Zairu out of the equation. Gary is there. But unfortunately for Garadu, he missteps it all the way into Hotshot. And the Pakistanis now just taking these great steps. 3 eliminations. They have to slow things down. They can't get too excited.
Yeah, 4. Make it 4 as Gary goes down. They were able to get a revive onto Kiba before things went absolutely south. But if you are a hot shot, this is a fantastic opening. And on the other hand, BRU against Yago is going to be Wasana that just wins the footwork. Yago getting taken down off screen. That's what we saw, kind of revenge from the side of BRU.
In Yago's defense, he just didn't have his favorite gun, right? Had to play off of the SMG. Not really his best weapon. If that was a sniper, I don't think Wasana would be smiling at this point of time. The guy would have had to get it revived once again. Esports up against EWC Divine. Apex with a sliver of health alongside Ray, but it's G'day. Ray goes down. Apex down as well. Back to back. They get those knocks. Instant revival onto Ray. Aim God is there as well for that backup, but not yet. This is not the time for EWC Divine, all thanks to the pocket market.
Definitely not the time to get eliminated, but it is definitely time for PE Sports to show themselves a little bit, make their presence known in this lobby, getting a couple of points, something that they desperately need to at least get a safe haven in that top 12 by the end of today. But for a team like Reta, I think they're doing the exact same thing, skirting around kind of the edges of the map. And this is where teams like Reta, when they don't want to take too much risk, they try to slow it down a little bit, right? Take that long road to make sure that they at least guarantee that late game entry. But also the risk that comes with that is that if you get intercepted, you really don't have much place to go.
Reta currently sitting in 8th, so not the most comfortable of positions. They have to make sure they find that final circle. Can't give it up to yet another early elimination. But skirting around the very edge of the safe zone seems to be a smart idea here. They stop halfway, not intruding into the compound of all gamers. So it is a decently passive play from the side of Reta. I like that. But in the meantime, Hotshot now going to find a hot contender out there on the battlefield. It's the one and only Loud.
And they did go wide a little bit from the grenade launcher, but Hotshot actually are in a pretty decent position, especially Sajid. This is a crucial spot. If he can anchor down here, if he can become the fulcrum for Hotshot, they might be able to get a couple of points off of Loud. I think Loud kind of smells that. Blood in the water, at least danger in the air. They're going to start scattering, start the retreat. Kawan getting tagged first by Action, and Sajid soon to join in. Hotshot continuing the pursuit.
Oh, Kawan in a terrible position now with the mini Uzi in hand. Can't really do much from a distance like this. I want to see what's his second gun action. On the other hand, takes advantage with the Woodpecker, spots a little bit of his body peeking out, and he takes the guy out of the equation, but nothing lost for Loud there. They had the resources to bring the guy right back into play, but the question is, can they survive the onslaught that Hotshot is trying to bring upon them right now? Here comes the rush.
The gears are turning for Hotshot. The engine's revved up. Hotshot taking the fight. Sajid coming in, and that's the trade already. Loud can't find much more than just that. Kawan would just have to watch his teammates fight the bullet as we find a quadra for Action. The Hotshot coming online.
Amazing aggression coming through from Hotshot, the team that missed the grand finals by just 6 points in the Free Fire World Series last year. They want to make it happen for themselves this time. All they need to do is aim for the top 12. If they can keep this up, top 12 is surely in their pockets.
They have been a constant pride for the Pakistanis Free Fire scene, right? Year after year, they missed out. I think we talked about this behind the scenes where, sure, they missed out last year, but that was the closest they've ever come to.
Yes.
And perhaps this is going to be it. Loud eliminated as Lupex XL takes out Kawan off screen. So the team that just got Booyah faces an early exit. But on the other hand, 19 Esports, that Riptide Rhythm destroying the glue wall means that no more defenses left for them. 2 down. It seems like for AG, they want to put the pedal to the metal.
Fantastic use of the Skylar right there. Jota right back in the game. A timely revival to keep 19 Esports still in this match.
It's a clutch at the end. Bit of a good move, I think, for 19 Esports. Sure, they're still in the game.
Yeah.
But you look at the state of the circle, there really isn't much left, right? 7 minutes until we hit the end game stage. In fact, lesser than 7 minutes. And even when we look at the map, Jota 10, the only survivor, is going to head to Zipway, find that vending machine. So this is a very, very slow mid to late game for 19 Esports.
I mean, they're currently placed 12th in the overall grand scheme of things. The last thing you want is to get taken out early once again. So timely revival, yes, but what do you do with the revive? And how much coins can you pick up for those revivals to bring the rest of the teams in? As I talk about him, Joda does bring Elite right back into the squad. Now you've got 2 players out there looking for those coins, scraping away at the battlefield, all thanks to the coin machines. The possibility is high for a full team revival, but survivability with the low number of loot on them perhaps could keep them in the 12th spot by the end of this game.
Even for AG Global, they have 8 eliminations so far. I feel like we kind of sideline them a little bit, right? Because they have good early to mid game, but the late game, they don't really make it that far. Maybe this is one of the few times AG gets a bit more, shows a bit more of that presence. Fluxo, on the other hand, also having a decent round so far. You know, they ran to RQ Kazu in that early game after coming out Intellect Center, but at least they have a full squad and they have just transitioned smoothly into the mid game. And they even find LBT. Well, courtesy of Abe High, look who's going to pick it up. MT7 steals it.
That's why you need Falco. But unfortunately, the pet is not as buffed enough to waste on your slots there. Everybody else is going to be dragging in that R1, that Dreki, the Beastin. So Mr. Falco will need to wait for a little bit of a update, maybe a little bit of a buff in the next few patches. MT7 though, he smells a victim right outside the circle. Question is, can he get to him? The last thing Fluxo wants is to play these aggressive maneuvers and then lose players in such a crucial timing.
Yeah, and they heeded your words. They're going to stop by Museum for now. I think you can also use that 19 Esports straggler as a bait if they continue to chase, but
yeah,
as things stand, we are going to have a bit of a stalemate between the teams until the next circle. Even for BRU, they are not making too many aggressive moves. Netshoe Miners doing the exact same thing. They're just still gatekeeping from Topia because this is a pretty decent spot with a lot of vantage points.
Oh my!
Let's say that ABAX gets found out. That doesn't result in a knock, so good on Evo's Divine.
Yeah, great play there. Did manage to get the connection, but no knocks. Jota 10 out, 19 Esports still being tortured. PE Sports this time being the one to take those digs at them. But Elite 11 is going to be pretty much out of sight from everybody else unless, of course, there's another revival. The guy joins him up top on the tower. In the meantime, 19, they are going to stay alive for a little bit longer.
Might not be for long. Depends on if BRU finds one of the members. Well, I say that Wasana has already found him.
My.
So 19 Esports on last legs. Evo's Divine, on the other hand, running into Netshoe Miners.
See what Netshoe can do here as Evo's Divine. They stack it up outside as Ray gets knocked down onto the ground. Proc 7, beautiful shot from afar. G'day can't do much. He waits behind his barrier, just waiting for a couple of players to show up. And yes, they do show up with General rushing on in with the Woodpecker. CQC with the marksman. G'day stood no chance.
A very, very good follow-up from the side
Elite
of Netshoe Miners. Elite also might end up falling, but he did get revived on Cluso before he eventually goes down, but picked up by MT7, so 19 Esports cannot escape the inevitable. Hotshot on the other hand, they're going to run into AG, and this is going to crunch time. AG on one side, BRU on the other.
That Riptide Rhythm making sure they can't erect any more of those defenses. Grenade after grenade, and Get High with a triple. It's all up to that final player to get those pickups, and action goes down as well. Headshot eliminated all by Get High himself.
Essentially getting a quad kill with 2 nades. Get High showing up big time. And Hotshot streak ended in just a flash. BRU continues their streak. And I'm pretty sure AG saw that happening. But off of that momentous play, BRU ready to storm the front of AG.
They were doing so well up to that point, man. Buriram, you monsters, Get High. He did not see that one coming just yet. He thought he might get 1, maybe 2, but gets a triple and finishes off the final player with the follow-up grenade. Monstrous play from the Buriram player. And now RRQ getting the chip damage from all of those ice grenades. Let's see if they can get away from this one as AG finds a player. Caramel turned on by Get High. That Drogon just way too good.
Wait, stop, could not find what's so slippery! And turning around with the Chargebuster, AG getting toyed around like a rag doll, and suddenly realizing that they are only down to just one stop in his tracks. Achilles heel basically torn in half, and AG not having a good time. RQ on the other hand, Razor takes the grenade to the face courtesy of Bob's delivery from the Brazilian team. Does up against the full force of Brazil, and they fall in the process, executed in public.
Just like we talked about, the forward momentum at the start of the day and the backward swing, RRQ can't seem to hang on just yet, but at least they got that 4th spot. We need to see exactly how many of those eliminations will keep them up at the top here. Buriram United, on the other hand, leading the fray with the most number of eliminations, and I am pretty sure Get High has got a couple of more grenades to play around with.
Oh, absolutely. Down to top 3 is Fluxo, Netshoe Miners, and BRU. See if they can defy the odds. Ever since the last not just the last 2-3 international events, we've seen BRU having a target on their back.
Yeah.
They just grow bigger and bigger and bigger every international event. And it kind of reached a boiling point, the Snapdragon Pro Series that we had at Sao Paulo. Right now, BRU having to face off against Netshoe Miners first to see what they can make out of this.
Netshoe just wasting way too many of those glue wall melters, just tossing it out into the open. Bob's down on the ground. This is one of the best games Fluxo has had thus far, but all of their players barely having any bit of health on them to survive out there on the battlefield. Netshoe now setting all of those grenades towards Fluxo. Here comes Wasada with his Tatsuya as well, flagging on from the left-hand side. Nando does manage to drop bombs, and Fluxo just can't do much to detest all of these players.
And with these two teams taking each other out, the job for BRU has just gotten so much easier. 4 versus 3 in this final skirmish. Get High with 11 under his belt, absolutely slaughtering everyone in this lobby. And Netshoe Miners will become a relic by the end of this. Sent back into the dirt is BRU, claiming the second Booyah of the day.
19 eliminations, 12 points from the Booyah. A massive game from your 2-time world champs.
Back on the world stage and emotions running high for BRU. A rare sight because normally they're stoic even after a win, right? We saw it in FFWS Spring. They get 5 Booyahs in a single day and they still don't feel happy about it. But Wasana felt like a weight has been lifted off his shoulders. And Get High, definitely the instigator, the finisher, the judicator, and the executor.
I mean, this is the kind of games we want to see out of Buriram United Esports, but at the very same time, I'm very happy that they did not start off this whole day